Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's Colby Lawson here, back at it again with another reaction video. And of course, as you can see, we've already got one of um, those unhinged wannabe gangbangers, talking shit, because apparently, you know, you know, support because in these folks' minds, defending a murderer, a cold-blooded murderer, is more important than preserving life where possible. Now this is another one of those unhinged Carmelo Anthony supporters who obviously looks exactly like what you'd expect from a Boondocks episode, not to mention what you'd expect when it comes to folks defending a murderer that just so happens to be of a specific race. You know, when you hear people say black fatigue, this is exactly the kind of image they're thinking of. A wannabe hood rat that knows nothing about life other than, hey, if everyone else has to die, then so do other people. It's so stupid. That this nigga culture has to stop, bro. You know, so Carmelo Anthony was recently sentenced to 35 years in prison for murder, which was absolutely justified, but unfortunately, it wasn't harsh enough. He should have been sentenced to life in prison without parole. However, the problem is that he in the state of Texas, it's for some reason it's a federal crime. Well, it's actually illegal. Um, Federal law for some reason prevents teens from being sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for committing violent crimes. Yes, I know it's stupid. If you commit a violent crime, you absolutely should be getting some hefty prison time, especially when it comes to murder. You should be getting a life sentence without the possibility of parole. And that's if you're not even remorseful. Of course, with folks like this, you'll definitely see him on the news sooner or later. Anyway, he got sentenced to 35 years in prison. Carmelo Anthony did, and the as usual, the how do I say this? The watermelon devouring clowns, um, the watermelon felon supporters did not take it very lightly. They did not take that kindly. In fact, they got offended that a murderer was was sentenced for committing murder, which is illegal. It's illegal to commit murder. Both in the Bible and in law, and man's law, it's illegal. To commit murder. It's literally one of the 10 Commandments. How did we forget about this? Well, this is our education system, and this is our education system wrapped up in a nutshell. I mean, it really is when you think about it. So, um, he got 35 years in prison, and like I said, these clowns, these KFC loving clowns, did not like that. And there's been nothing but threats from these folks like him on TikTok, probably a bunch of other platforms as well. Nothing but threats against white people, the whole 9 yards. You know, with these classic folks pretending like, they're not, the cause of a lot of issues with the country, specifically within the country anyway. I mean, this is the exact kind of dude you would see in the streets of Chicago with the Glock and a Glock switch to boot. Yep. Wanna be gangbanger right here. You know, I don't understand how you could defend a murderer. Like, how can you defend such evil? But then again, these people are evil. Just look at him. He looks like an orc right out of Warhammer Space Marine.
And right off the bat, man, free Carmelo. Straight up. Straight up. I don't give a fuck about no white lives.
I bet you don't because you're a hood rat. Why would you? Because you've been raised like that. You've been allowed to partake in violent crimes. You've been raised incorrectly. Of course, you wouldn't care about anyone else. Of course, you wouldn't care about the lives of another race because you're a racist. You've been raised to be a racist. You know, uh, come on, man. You're just you're just a terrible person. You're a poor excuse of a human being, a waste of flesh. You know, you're the exact reason why you folks keep suffering. You know, these people tend to forget that they enslaved their own way back when. You know, they enslaved their own. They were doing a lot of the enslaving. It's it's wild, man. These people are just insufferable. Mm-mm-mm. The big lips, the big goddamn eyes, man. Is he trans or something? Cause like, you know what? I'm not even gonna ask questions, bro.
All lives don't matter over here.
Yeah, we know they don't because y'all folks be killing each other so goddamn much that people can't possibly live there without dying. Especially neither can y'all. Y'all done got yourselves into that kind of culture, and y'all call it culture. Nope, 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 nope. Y'all commit all kinds of violent crimes and wonder why folks treat y'all the way they do.
Because on the daily, we get killed.
You know why you folks get killed? Because you folks kill each other. That's why. You folks kill each other. That's exactly why. I don't see too many white people killing black people. I see a bunch of black people killing each other though. But y'all won't talk about that because y'all know that goes against y'all agenda. That crushes y'all world. It's sad that y'all won't even talk about that shit because y'all so afraid of accepting the truth that y'all be killing each other the most out of any race. But it is what it is, as they say, I guess.
And ain't nobody got shit to say.
Yeah, because we see this all the time. That's why. We've grown accustomed to just like looking at y'all killing each other and being just like, oh yeah, it's another one of those gang shootings again. It's another one of those conflict shootings again. Well, the police will sort it out or something. We've grown numb to that shit, and it's really sad. Because there should be consequences. Y'all should be facing some consequences to y'all actions. Y'all done killed each other so goddamn much throughout history, especially now, that people have grown numb to that shit and have just looked at it and just like turned a blind eye to it. Thinking it's another day in New York or wherever. You know, like why do y'all think people just ignore you folks dying? And I'm not talking about the black folks who are genuinely decent people, which there are a lot of them. No, I'm talking about you hood rats that end up dead more than anyone else. That's because y'all be killing each other. Y'all are the reason y'all be dying. And nobody's saying anything. One, the media is trying to completely hide that and erase it because they know it goes against their agenda, especially anti-gun folks like the fat blobs of moms demand action. you know um and on top of it, people have grown numb to that kind of thing where people just see that and it's like, oh, this is nothing new. Them folks doing the same shit they've been doing for god knows how long. Y'all folks are the cause of y'all own problems. you know like, come on, man. Stop pretending that an entire race, an entire other race of humans caused y'all downfall. Y'all, they didn't do that. Y'all did. And now look at where y'all at. Same shit, different day. Come on, man. Stop making black people look bad, bro. That shit's annoying. If y'all gotta be this insufferable, why don't y'all move to a different country where y'all can kill each other all god darn day and nobody will say anything about it? But nope, y'all will find that y'all don't have the freedom to do that in other countries. Because some countries at least have some kind of standards. Try doing that shit in Russia and they'll get you.
But when one of ours is protecting itself,
No, don't play that card, dude. Don't do that. Nope. Cause I see a lot of goddamn videos of you hood rats, committing all kinds of goddamn crimes, then getting caught in the act, even if it's like a traffic infraction, and y'all have a whole goddamn meltdown and make things more difficult than they gotta be, making the police officers' jobs much more difficult and time consuming and very, very annoying, and then y'all have the nerve to play victim right at while all that shit's happening. Nah, bro. I ain't trying to hear that. Oh, but our people died. This. I ain't trying to hear all that shit, bro. That shit. Them excuses played out, bro. Stop using excuses to justify your hatred against a whole different race of human beings. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But if they did the exact same thing, y'all would definitely have a whole heart attack. Now, wouldn't y'all? Ye hypocrites, man. Ye hypocrites. And y'all wonder why y'all constantly suffer. Y'all brought that suffering onto yourselves, man. The Bible, God made it clear that what goes around comes around. So y'all shouldn't be surprised when y'all get the consequences of your actions. Come on, man. Who y'all think y'all playing? Wow, man. And folks really have the nerve to protect y'all? Nah, bro. The less of you hood rats there is, the better our society will be in this country.
protecting themselves.
I don't know how murder can be someone protecting themselves when murder has been clearly defined as the killing of an innocent human being. Like, seriously? Really? That's not self-defense. That's murder. What Carmelo Anthony did was murder. What a lot of these folks do, what a lot of y'all be doing in them cities like Kankakee, Chicago, and Los Angeles and New York City is nothing but murder. I mean, most of y'all ain't innocent, but y'all still out here killing each other regardless. And then on top of it, y'all killing other innocent folks of different races. And y'all end up getting incarcerated, and y'all have a nerve to complain about police brutality and the rest in the whole 9 yards. Nah, bro. Y'all don't get to complain about racism when y'all the ones being racist in the first place and causing all the goddamn problems. You folks are despised by a lot of people in the country because of y'all so-called culture. Just accept it, man.
They get ambushed. They get
No, nope, 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 nope. That's untrue. Very untrue. Nope. I just seen the video, and black conservative perspective will show it. But I just seen the video where this one white guy, they're in the murder trial, the Carmelo Anthony murder trial. He was getting ambushed by a bunch of black folks, a bunch of hood rats, being threatened and all that shit. No, but when folks of other races do the same thing, it's a problem, right? Nah. You don't get to defend a murderer and then straight up play victim, especially when y'all own be ganging up on people more than any other race in this country does. Seriously. What do you folks think how do y'all folks think reality works? Because clearly y'all don't know anything about reality other than what y'all want to twist reality into. Nah, you don't get to be a gangbanger in every goddamn part of the country. Folks don't like that. People like to live simple lives. People like to live in peace and quiet. not hear firearms going off in the middle of the night or the goddamn middle of the day, because certain folks can't learn to be civilized. Come on, man. Don't do that shit. You ain't innocent, and Carmelo isn't innocent. You folks ain't any more innocent. You folks ain't any more innocent than you know what? Nah, forget it. Cause I'm tired of this shit, bro. Let's just get on with the video, cause I'm tired of here. I'm tired of these folks.
Threats, they get all of this.
You know, buddy, you folks be threatening more people than anybody does, than anyone else does. Don't lie, bro. Don't do that.
Fuck that. We smoking on that Austin pack.
Yep, and we gonna be smoking on that Carmelo Anthony pack soon. Whether you want to believe it or not, we're gonna be smoking on that Carmelo Anthony pack soon. In fact, you know what? Just out of sheer pettiness, I'm gonna get me a black and mild, and I'm gonna smoke it too. When the news gets back that he died in prison, I'm gonna be smoking that shit. I'm gonna smoke that shit real good. I mean, too bad I can't put his name on it because Black and Mild cigars are only so big. But nah, I'm gonna smoke that Carmelo Anthony pack. Then we gonna see who's smoking who.
Like, I don't care anymore because it ain't no good in this shit.
Dude, you folks are the opposite of good. You folks are evil. You folks just don't understand. Y'all don't have no goddamn control or say in what goes. No. The Lord delivered the consequences of Carmelo's actions right to him. Through the book Adam too. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Nope, God done punished that man for what he did, which was murder. What you gonna do about it? You gonna cry? You gonna yell at him? Come on, man. Nah, you ain't doing nothing. The only thing you gonna do, is beg for mercy. You folks are wicked. You know what? And even better, I hope he drops the soap every day. Every day that he's in prison, I hope he drops the soap. What you gonna do now? What, you gonna cry on TikTok like you folks always do? What you gonna do? Act tough? You think you a tough guy? Nah. You know who a tough guy is? JD DeLay. Plenty of tough dudes out here who would love to have a word with you on morals, buddy. Nah, you ain't nothing. Because when you by yourself, it's completely different. Nah. You folks rely on being in a pack because y'all bully folks easier. Your folks have an easier time bullying people when y'all in a pack. When y'all by yourselves, y'all at the mercy of whoever approaches y'all.
It ain't nothing good that's in this shit. But they trying to lay the law down. Up all that shit. Y'all gotta give it up. Y'all.
Ain't nobody giving nothing up. What you gonna do to get it? What you gonna do to get it back? What you gonna do, buddy? What you gonna do, tough guy? What you gonna do? You ain't doing nothing. What you gonna do? Talk shit to the judge? What you gonna do? You ain't doing nothing, buddy. Cause you make the wrong move, you gonna find yourself in the same predicament he in. So you best watch it. You best watch what you saying and what you doing.
Gotta give it up. It ain't over. It ain't over. Free Carmelo, man. Fuck it. Fuck him.
Boy. So we got to talk about a woke Carmelo Anthony supporter finding out after going viral for acting like a clown outside of the courthouse, right? The murder trial, okay? And the individual here that we're talking about is this guy who was seen acting like a fool, right? Let's listen in.
You are no man. Because when a man steps up, what do?
Wow, and see, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is the video I was talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about too. These folks, they lurk in a pack. They lurk in a goddamn pack. Yup. They ain't like wolves though. Nope, because wolves don't bother people. They run from danger if they don't have to if there's no reason for them to defend themselves. If they cornered, you know what a wolf gonna do. And even then, some wolves Don't play that shit. These folks ain't wolves. They ain't no wolves. Nah. We know what they is. We not gonna say it. Only because there's really no need to right now, because we already know. But they know what they is. We know what they are. Uncivilized animals. Folks are got a bunch of god darn uncivilized monkeys. Because they do act like them. These folks is acting like them. Because what do monkeys do? Like, this isn't even a race thing. This is, like, for real. Because what do monkeys do? They act uncivilized. Some monkeys do have some common sense and civil, whatever in them. You know, some of them do act civilly, but most of them don't. Most of them act like a bunch of unhinged lunatics. You know, but even then, that's an insult to monkeys because at least they don't know what they're doing. These wild animals, oh yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. Nope, 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 nope. These unhinged, wild animals, Karens in the goddamn wild, all grouped up because they think they bigger than everybody. That's how they use that. This is how they bully people, through intimidation. They all get together and use intimidation in this manner. That's exactly how they do shit. They rely on strength in numbers. You know how the clones, you know how in Star Wars the clones and the battle droids were made for, you know, as expendable units in a manner speaking. But even then, the clones were more competent. Battle droids, at least the second batch, were more incompetent. were incompetent. Mostly because they were independent thinkers, but some were smart, some were outliers. Still, though, these folk, you know what? That's an insult to battle droids. At least the second generation of them. I don't even know what to call these wild animals. I don't know what to call these goofies because that's what they are, basically. That's all they are, goofies. You know, these unhinged, goddamn KFC loving, finger licking, maniacal, rabies infected beasts. That's what they are. That's exactly what they are. That's all they ever gonna be. Mm-mm-mm. I tell you what, you know, these folks, they act tough. They not really tough. These are the same folks that rely on Glocks with switches just to you know just to do the illegal shit that they do. Just to do illegal shit that they do. These are the same exact kinds of folks who would threaten our soldiers, our military, our law enforcement officers, and us as U.S. citizens with force and God knows what else. That is until they figure out that they are completely outnumbered. You know, these wild animals should be ashamed of themselves. And I can only imagine what their families are like.
I've already done something. Same energy with me that you had with her. He's over there chilling. On the clock, chilling. Show chest. Because now there's room and opportunity. Ain't nothing but air and opportunity.
Yeah, alright, tough guy. Talk your mess, tough guy. I mean, you tough, right? I mean, if you that tough, then why you need all them folks with you? If you tough, why you need all them folks with you then?
Do something, the same thing that you were gonna do to her. We both got our hands behind our back.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Come on, man. You folks act like you about it. You folks ain't about nothing. That's why you folks be dying in all them goddamn cities all the time. Cause all you folks know is just violence. You folks know nothing about peace. That's why you folks can't go a day without killing each other. Good lord. Come on, man. Yep. And see how this guy isn't throwing hands or anything. He just standing there. Yeah. It takes a strong man to stand in front of something like this. Cause nah, bro, I couldn't. I would be throwing hands almost immediately. Just from him talking, dude. But nah, this man, he more composed than I am. He is way more composed than I am. Props to this man. Props to this American citizen. Props to our citizen for standing his ground against these tyrants. My thing is where the cops at, because some of these folks have not really graduated from batons and shit. They need batons. Where the nightsticks at? Because these folks ain't learned their lesson.
Let's have a conversation. Why did you get in her face? Why did you get in her face? You did. You approached a black woman.
Boy, if you don't shut up and get shut up. Shut up, dreadface. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. You ain't no tougher than this dude is. Shut up. Back your ass up, man. You hood rat. I'm tired of you hood rats. You get out the way, bro. Cause you ain't gonna do nothing either. You just waiting for what? You just waiting to hear what he? You just waiting for his word. Come on, man. You ain't nothing. Get out of here. Sick of
That is a woman. That is a woman. That is a woman. That is a woman.
Okay, who cares? You know, who cares? When you disrespect somebody, you get disrespected. Dummy. That's how things work. If you don't like it, you can leave. Good lord, man. Y'all really be acting like y'all tough when y'all fragile as all get out. Come on, man. You ain't doing nothing. Get out of here. What you gonna do? What is you gonna do to this man? What you gonna do? Come on, tough guy, do something. Oh wait, you can't. You in prison. That's why you can't do nothing because you arrested.
That is a woman. That is a woman. That is a woman. That is a woman.
Wow. These people are uncivilized.
They sure are.
He ain't gonna do shit. I'm dancing. You ain't gonna do shit. I'm dancing. You ain't gonna do shit.
He doesn't need to, bro. You embarrassing yourself. Why does he need to do anything when you the one acting a fool and gonna get arrested anyway? And look, lo and behold, he got arrested. See? This is where all that behavior gets you. This is what that culture gets you. It makes you act like you act like a fool when you get arrested. Too bad the rest of them couldn't be. Too bad the rest of them couldn't be arrested. This is an American right here. A man who's willing to protect his country and die for his country. He deserves respect. This weak, mindless, spineless coward deserves nothing. It deserves nothing but disrespect. He's not worthy of respect. Look at him. He's fragile. He's insecure. He's your average, everyday wannabe hood rat that goes around trying to tell everybody that he's tough, only to be the weakest, only to be easily snappable. No, that was terrible. Only to be, only to get folded when he disrespects the wrong person. This dude ain't nothing, and neither are the rest of these folks. They ain't nothing. They rely on strength in numbers. We don't. We stand together. That's what keeps us as American citizens. We stand together. These folks that kill each other for a dollar. That's the difference between us. Between us American citizens and these tyrants. Yeah, no. They will kill each other for a dollar. We protect our goddamn country and defend it. And would die for the people in our country. What do they got? Nothing. Just Glocks with switches in them. And hood culture. That's all they got going for them. And look, and how's that working out for them? Not too good, because they still dying. And I bet you one thing, at least this man had a father. I don't think I can say the same for him or the rest of these folks.
You ain't gonna do shit. I'm dancing. 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 You ain't gonna do shit.
Celebrate while you can, you criminals. Cause soon y'all be in the slammer too.
I'm dancing. I'm dancing. You ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah. So this is what they do, right? They provoke people, and then they
Mm-hmm.
want to play victim. They want to cry victim
Yep.
when somebody reacts to their provocation, right? Kind of like
Exactly.
what happened with Carmelo, right? Carmelo provoked Austin Metcalf. This is what the witnesses said. Everybody said that, right? He was the aggressor, okay? And the pro blacks are trying to make Carmelo out to be the victim, even though he murdered Austin Metcalf, okay? And now he has to spend 35 years in prison getting bent over for 35 years straight, okay? Which is not fun, okay? And these people are still crying about it, right? They're still crying about it. Like, these people are coming up with new lies every single day. Like, now some random woman said that Carmelo was jumped and that she saw the video of him being jumped, and somehow, some way, the court is suppressing the video. That video wasn't shown during the trial, even though Dominique Alexander, the woke handler of Carmelo, said that the video did not show Carmelo getting jumped, right? Willie D is pushing this nonsense on his channel in order to keep his brainwashed followers engaged with this story, right? To
And who is
continue
this
the
Willie
grift
D?
that will never end.
And when I went to see the video, they ask if you want to see it from either 2 minutes before the stabbing or 11 minutes before. So I chose 11 minutes. From the moment she pressed play, Karmelo Anthony was already sitting up underneath that canopy. And he was sitting there for at least 8 to 9.5 minutes. You see, well, I saw a boy in a black hoodie go over to him first, and then they left out of the tent, and then you see coming across the field was another 6 boys. When they got to the bleachers, one, he went out of frame, and the other one sat at the bottom. But the remaining 4, they went directly to Karmelo Anthony, and like T said before, it was a brief conversation, and then all you see is commotion. And
I don't believe
we know
you.
from the interviews that Hunter
Folks
did,
are known liars.
we know that Hunter was, in fact, up underneath that tent. The next thing you see, you can see Carmelo, in the midst of them assaulting him, you can see Carmelo trying to back out, but he gets pulled back forward. The next thing you see is Carmelo, he comes shooting out the back, but he's still not standing. And he had to like kind of crab crawl backwards, and he had to like jerk away from them because they still had a hold of his hoodie. He goes up a couple bleachers and he's looking around for which way to go. He runs diagonally down the bleachers and then he falls. At the time of him falling, that's when I noticed another 3 boys coming down the bleachers chasing after him. But once Carmelo got up, he took off. You didn't see him for the rest of the video. At no point in that video do you see Hunter holding his brother. At no point in that video do you see those boys ever going back to the tent and sitting down. That was all a lie. And I also have questions. I don't know how the defense did not play that video. Because when you see that video, it was self-defense. Carmelo was only 5'8", 130-something pounds, and Austin and Hunter Metcalf were 6'1", 220-something pounds. So for people to say that he should have used his hands, people can die from fights, from people using their hands. And that's all I'm going to say for right now.
Okay, so my thing is, why didn't Carmelo Anthony call the goddamn cops if he was supposedly getting jumped and shit? Because when someone is committing a crime against you, you would want to call the cops. You would want to call the dispatcher, call 911 and report the situation, so that way, in the event that you do kill somebody in self-defense, quote-unquote self-defense, you have a paper trail to fall back on. So you can't be accused of murder, it would be, you could, so that way there would be some proof that it would be self-defense at least. But he didn't call the cops, and why was he running and not seen for 2 days? He should have went straight to the police station and reported what happened, but he didn't. Nope. He was gone for he was gone for 2 days. Now I wonder, why would you be gone for 2 days, after getting jumped? With or well, supposedly jumped. You know, with the person that supposedly jumped you being found dead. Nope. He was in hiding because he knew he committed murder and he was hiding. He was a coward. Couldn't even bother to turn himself in. Nope. Nope. I ain't trying to hear all that BS. Nah. I don't know how stupid you think folks really is, but nope, 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 nope. Nope. He was hiding for 2 days because he committed murder and he knew it. And he didn't want to deal with the consequences of his actions. Of course, that didn't last long because they got him. Now, isn't that something? Gone for 2 days when he could have went straight to the police station and reported the crime. He could even call the dispatcher while all this was taking place. But nope, he didn't. I don't understand why these folks have to sit here and lie, but anything to protect hood culture and keep it going, right? Man, these folks are just pathetic. Really pathetic. I mean, and if you're stabbing someone in self-defense, wouldn't you just stab them like once or twice, maybe 3 times? I don't know the exact legalities of it, the exact stipulations, but stabbing someone several goddamn times, like over 10 times, and it's supposedly self-defense, sounds more like you hate who you're stabbing, doesn't it? And I mean, I'm pretty sure there have been cases where, a criminal, some evil human being has been stabbed several goddamn times, you know, um, in the act of committing a crime, which is understandable. I mean, because you're trying to protect yourself, or you really just hate that criminal. But this is a whole different situation. Where's the goddamn video where he supposedly was being innocent and suddenly just got attacked and resorted to stabbing his attacker to death and just leaving him there? Again, context matters. However, if you think I'm going to sit here and believe that he was just gone for 2 days for no reason at all, you have been bamboozled. You have played yourself. No, absolutely not. Carmelo Anthony murdered that team. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry because I have common sense. Okay? And there's also the fact that, um he made a lot of threats to the to the teen he murdered. I mean, come on, man. Even that who was it? What was his name? The guy said that Carmelo Anthony, you know, wasn't whatever happened. I forgot. But come on, man. Y'all can't really think that these lies is going. It makes any sense. Like, come on, man. A good lawyer could pick that shit apart in a second.
So
Okay. So what y'all think about that?
Um, I think the same thing I thought when he was found guilty of murder. He's still guilty of murder. Do you get that through your leftist hood rat skull? Do you get it? He's still guilty of murder, and he's still going to rot in jail for 35 years, and that's provided he doesn't die in prison, because he probably will. There are some inmates who do have standards, okay? And they will probably get him, one way or another. He's probably going to drop the soap. That would be a nice thing, too. What are you going to do about it? Cry? What are you going to do? Cry? You're going to be miserable? You're going to sit in that same chair and try to lecture everybody on social justice and black history? Come on, man. Seriously, you folks are funny. You folks are complete goddamn clowns.
I'm talking to you Trumpsters.
Oh, here we go with this again. Yep. Look, I don't like Trump any more than the average person does, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend, that he's the reason why Carmelo Anthony was found guilty of murder, which was proven, and sentenced to 35 years in the clink. Come on, bro. Like, I don't like the president either, but I'm not going to sit here and blame him for every goddamn thing that happens, and also blame him for when things don't go my way. What the heck, dude? Do y'all have anything better to do than this? Because I know y'all have to have something better to do than this. Get a hobby, man. You get a goddamn hobby or something. Like, you expect me to sit here and listen to a word you're saying when you can't even have a good faith perspective here, dude. It's time for you to be in a box up the goddamn river. No, not even up the river. It's time for you to be in a box down the goddamn river. It really is. Your time is just like, nah, bro, cause you gone cuckoo. You gone cuckoo. You gone loco, man. Nah, you too old for that. It's time for you to be put in a box down the goddamn river. Nah, man. Come on, dude. What was we doing here? Get your gramps, folks. Somebody get your gramps, man.
Because that's the only ones who are thinking that way.
No, 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 no. That's where you're wrong. There are plenty of folks who aren't Trump supporters but are conservative and even centrists who are who all have the exact same idea that Carmelo Anthony is guilty of murder. He murdered an innocent teen. Same. I mean, that's what murder is when you take the life of an innocent person. But he murdered a teen. He got sentenced. That's it. End of discussion. Y'all need to just accept reality instead of trying to twist it and trying to control something that you have no control over. Jeez, let me guess, y'all gonna get mad at God too? I mean, come on, man. Y'all gotta have something better to do than to be this goddamn miserable every day of your life because, black lives are out there getting tarnished and forsaken by white supremacy. Come on, bro. Grow the hell up, dude. Take the diapers off, Gramps. Take the diaper off, Gramps. Put your man pants on. You know, this is so disappointing, and I know goddamn well you're older than me. I'm 23 years old, and the fact that I have to lecture you on morality is insane. You should know better. God, I hope you don't have grandkids, because that would just be even worse, man. I feel bad for any grandkids you may have, and any kids you may have, because honestly, I don't even think I could recognize you if you were my father. I couldn't. No, you could not be my father. Nope. Nope. Nah, bro, you'd be disowned right on the spot, dude.
Yeah, I know you. Ooh, I know you. I study you.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you do not. No, you do not. Stop acting like you know shit when you don't. That's y'all folks. That's you folks' problem. Y'all are ignorant. Seriously, man. Cut the crap, dude. Take the diaper off and put on your man pants. Grow up, dude. Like, really? You folks are so pathetic. Come on. You would think in 2026 that people would actually improve or something. But nope, nope, nope. Things have just gotten significantly worse. Like they do every year, where people get dumber and dumber. And this is a result of our education system. This is what our education system has boiled down to. Good
I
Lord.
study you. But you know what? That don't matter. Because in your mind, Carmelo Anthony is the reason that the blacks are upset. They're the reason that the
Yes, Carmelo Anthony is the reason y'all are upset because he's black and he was committed of a, He committed a violent crime, was found guilty of it, of committing it, and was sentenced to 35 years in prison. I mean, seriously, that's the only reason y'all are mad, is to push a goddamn narrative. That's the only reason y'all are mad. Why? I don't know. But like y'all need to stop pushing that old age old narrative of white people evil, good people, black people good, because it ain't working. It never worked. It just helped the government fuel even more. It just helped the government divide people even more. Y'all walked right into the government's trap, eating out of the palm of their hand, and look where y'all at now. Now y'all relying on them.
Blacks are taken to the streets, and the blacks are once again calling out the white privilege.
There is no white privilege, dude. It's 2020 goddamn 6. There is no such thing as white privilege here. You folks are still stuck on slavery, man. Get with the program. It's 2026. It's not the 1800s anymore, Gramps. You think we are? You think Abraham Lincoln still exists or something? We're in 2026, man. There's no racial slavery in the United States. There hasn't been for decades. What is wrong with you people? Like somewhere you folks had a screw loose. This is disappointing. This is really disappointing. I sure feel bad for your mother, cuz I don't think I would be too happy with my son doing this. You know, just to push a narrative. I'd be really disappointed.
So he is the catalyst for that. And so you're mad at him, and so he's
No, he is. No, you folks are the ones who are actually mad. We're celebrating. Even though, to be honestly, he should have been serving a life sentence without parole. But 35 years is as good as it's probably gonna get. So, we're celebrating. Every single one of us is celebrating. A murderer has been punished. Not as much as harshly as we were hoping, but nevertheless he's been punished. And you folks will do nothing because you folks can do nothing. You folks are cowards. Y'all can't even go a whole day without killing each other. Or hating each other just to hate. Y'all can't even go one day without killing each other. Y'all really think y'all ready to advocate against the boogeyman known as white supremacy? There is none. Like, y'all are still stuck in that mindset of white people taking over the world or something. Like, y'all really think y'all still live in the 1800s, don't y'all? Well, let me be the millionth person to say that we're in 2026 and there's no such thing as white supremacy and never has been since God knows when. So stop making up issues just to have something to complain about. Because that's all y'all are doing. Y'all want to make up issues just to complain about shit. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. And it's embarrassing to our country. And it's embarrassing to us. Like, come on, man. If you want to do that all day, why don't you go somewhere else and do it? Go to some other country and y'all can start up as much as y'all want.
he joins the long list of black victims who you disparage.
Where is this list of black victims at? Because I would really love to see it. Just so I can take it and smoke it. If I could, where's this list of black folks? Where's this list of the black victims of white supremacy? So I could take it and friggin' smoke it with the black and mild. I'll roll that thing up and smoke it. Because this is what happens when you keep trying to push a narrative that is full of baloney. So you know what? No. That's it. That's it. We gonna be controversial now. Nope. Well, give me that list of the black victims of the boogeyman known as white supremacy, so I can smoke it on camera. Like, really, seriously, give me that list. I want to smoke it. And not even to make y'all angry, just to show y'all that at the end of the day, there is no such thing as white supremacy, and y'all can do nothing. Y'all will do nothing because y'all can do nothing about it. All y'all can do, the only thing y'all can do is keep making these goddamn rage bait videos, about white supremacy as if anybody paying attention to y'all. Most people ain't paying attention to y'all. They out there living their lives and shit. They got more important things to worry about and do than to be focusing on y'all and the garbage that y'all be creating. Like, come on, man. Y'all gotta grow up at some point. Y'all gotta really grow up at some point. Y'all can't keep using Trump as some sort of boogeyman. In fact, y'all can't keep just using the president as some fall guy or something, cuz that's getting old. It's getting really old. Like, every time, y'all get bent about some sort of racial injustice or something, y'all gotta just mention the president or anybody else that's so much as right leaning. And don't even get me started on how y'all attack centrists too. Yeah, y'all be attacking more people than people that attack y'all. Come on, man. Y'all attack y'all own for $1. Not even $1, a penny. Y'all are some treacherous liars.
The video is out there. We know it because she's not the only one. Tia's not the only one who says she saw that video.
Okay, if she saw that video, then she would be able to describe most of what happened. And she would be doing it very convincingly, because I'm not exactly convinced at all of that what she's saying is true. Why? Because y'all are known for being liars. So you can believe all that nonsense that Carmelo Anthony is innocent as much as you want, but it's untrue. At the end of the day, he is guilty of murder, and punishment has been delivered to his very doorstep. And now he's going to be rotting in prison for 35 years. He probably won't even make it the first few years. Someone will get him from inside the prison. Someone will. And y'all are going to be mad and miserable and demand justice for a murderer. And folks are going to be still living their lives, ignoring y'all, and confronting y'all about lying, trying to push this narrative that a murderer is innocent because of race, which y'all always do. Always gotta play the victim and wonder why folks don't take y'all seriously and don't respect y'all. With this whole cycle gonna keep going on until y'all get out of the culture, the so-called culture that y'all in. Y'all need to get out of that hood rat culture, because look what it's doing to y'all. Come on, man. Y'all know y'all don't care about Carmelo Anthony. Y'all only doing that because he's black. So that helps y'all narrative a bit. Except it's not exactly working the way y'all thought it would. Because at the end of the day, he still got sentenced. He's still been proven guilty. Y'all can sod off and go cry. No one cares, bro. Nobody cares. Shout out Joyner Lucas for that song. Nobody cares, man.
There was other people who have said they've seen the video also.
Okay, so then where's this video at? Where's this video at? Because I certainly don't see it. Where's the goddamn video? If they supposedly seen the video, wouldn't the video have been released anyway? Nah. Nope. We know why that video isn't there. It doesn't exist. Because that video literally probably proves that they're wrong. That you folks are wrong. That he was a murderer. Or that he did commit murder. That's why that video don't exist. Because that video probably would have destroyed Carmelo Anthony's case even further than it already was. Nah, bro. Don't try to play people for a fool now. No. I guarantee you the reason that video hasn't surfaced is because it proved that he was guilty. It would have just been extra proof that he was guilty. It would have completely destroyed their narrative. And it would have been like, it would have been like the prophet of truth finding out about the it would have been like the prophet of truth first finding out about the real purpose of the halo rings for the very first time. Got so mad that he decided to launch an entire genocidal campaign against the human race because he couldn't handle that his ideology, his narrative was completely crushed by reality. That he didn't have control over. It would have been the exact same thing. Y'all would have been very disappointed and very dissatisfied. But y'all do you, man. Just do it somewhere else.
So why won't they release the video?
Because it would destroy y'all narrative about him being innocent. That's why. Why do you think they didn't release the video, you dolt? What do you think? You people are so goddamn stupid, it's not even funny anymore. At first it was, now it's not. It's just annoying. Very annoying.
Because it would exonerate Karmelo Anthony.
No, it would not. No, it would not. No, it would not. Even, what was it, the lawyer, whoever, somebody even, you know how many people testified against Karmelo Anthony after saying he was innocent? A lot. Enough. So tell me, are you believing more lies, or are you trying to present a twisted version of the truth or something?
Because Karmelo Anthony would have never went to trial had they released that video.
Meanwhile, it's not like you can sit there and look at the pimple on someone's face, but you can identify what's there, right? In front of you. And so what has been described to me, is like, no, you could at least kind of know and count how many people right there.
Well, you can count how many bodies, but we can't see like faces. You know what I mean? Like we could see like, okay, somebody sitting right there, somebody sitting right there, but we couldn't see like Karmelo in Austin's face, or you know what I mean? It just was like kids there.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were saying that they were able to see him getting jumped. I couldn't see that. So I was wondering if you guys saw something different.
No, it's not, I didn't see that with that video. No. I didn't see him. I didn't see him getting jumped. Oh, you know what I mean? Like I saw movement over there. I saw that there was multiple people around him, but I didn't see he was getting, you know what I mean, like the altercation. No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. The worst part about Willie D is the fact that I know for a fact that he knows that he's just spewing bullshit to his audience, right? He knows what he's doing because he had a lawyer come on his show and tell him that Karmelo was not jumped and that none of that stuff happened. But yet again, he's telling his audience that happened when it didn't happen.
Man, if those boys had surrounded him and they was packing him out, they was mollywopping, they was jumping on him and stomping him out, I would understand if he pulled out a blade and took it and used it. I would get that. But this is not that situation. We in broad daylight. We surrounded by people. This is not a alley in Brooklyn at 2:30 in the morning. This is not Compton, California, South Central LA in the 90s, and you getting or you over in Watts and you got caught up in the knickers and garters or the PJs because you're over there trying to see a girl you ain't supposed to be overseeing. We're not talking about those situations. We're talking about broad daylight, suburban Texas, two kids at a track meet, and one of them pushed the other one. And keep in mind, Karmelo was talking shit.
Exactly. Like, it's not one of those situations. It's a situation where he instigated an altercation, and all he was waiting for was to be physically touched, to have physical contact made against him, and then that's when he just decided to full out murder the dude. This was premeditated because he knew what was going to happen when he started doing all what he did. You know, he knew what he was going to do to the guy, the team, and he did it. This was premeditated. This isn't, this isn't a case of Carmelo Anthony being jumped for whatever reason. No. Because if he was jumped, don't you think he would have been pretty screwed up if he was jumped? Because when someone gets jumped, they don't just look pretty. They don't look, like they usually do. They did before. Usually when you get jumped, there's injuries, okay? There's injuries. And to be honest, I wish they did jump him right after he murdered the team, because he absolutely would have deserved it too. No, they didn't jump him. Nobody jumped him. He murdered that teen in cold blood, and he knows it. We know it. He's guilty as charged, so he's going to be spending 35 years of his life in prison. He'll probably have parole or something, but hey, something's better than nothing. Though unfortunately now that's just becoming, now it's just it's getting to the point where, something being better than nothing is not good enough anymore. Nah, these folks need to learn a cold hard lesson. Shoot, my suggestion is execute him with the firing squad. Or in fact, fill his entire cell with jimpy plants. He may not die, but I bet you he'll wish he did. Nah, bro, you don't take the life of an innocent teen. You don't do that, man. Regardless of what race you is. And the fact that people want to make this a racial issue, a black versus white issue, instead of a criminal versus victim issue, is insane. But those folks, they will always look for the suspect to be black so they can say that the suspect is the victim. That's what those folks are looking for. Every single time an altercation happens between a black man or black woman, whatever, and a white person, even if it's not fatal, even if one of them doesn't die, one of them don't die, they're always looking for race, because all they need is for a black person to, you know, do something bad and be punished for it, and that's all they need to say, oh, but this is racist, this is a racial thing, injustice, the whole 9 yards. That's all they need. That is exactly what they need. That's all they need to cause an entire uproar. Remember what happened remember what happened after George Floyd's death? The whole Black Lives Matter nonsense, where a bunch of folks, especially of a particular race, were just destroying everything, burning buildings, you name it, destroying everything, attacking people in the name of a man, a black man who, at one point, held a firearm held a pregnant woman at gunpoint. Yeah, he's a real victim, isn't he? No, he's not. Nope, he's a criminal. Now, I'm not exactly saying what the officers did was, uh, pretty or acceptable. However, either way, he got what was coming to him. Just not in the way some people would have wanted. This whole black versus white thing is just exhausting. It's like every other day these people be, you know, you know, talking crap about white people. Meanwhile, they happily encourage and support the hood rat culture in certain parts of the United States where black folks are just killing each other with whatever they can get their hands on over money, a woman, you name it. I'm not saying not every race. I'm not saying that blacks are the only race that have stuff like that happen. But I am saying that they're the only race that does it the most, where it happens the most. You know, and you can take that whatever way you want, but facts are facts, man. This stuff isn't new. This stuff isn't new. You know, you can be mad all you want. You can say, "Oh, but you're lying. You're one of those Trump supporters, whatever." You can say whatever you want, okay? But your words don't mean anything to me. Your insults don't mean anything to me because I've heard a lot of things already, and I honestly don't care. You know, at the end of the day, I'm here to set the record straight, just like all these other content creators, these legit content creators out here are. And if you don't like it, then you can leave the goddamn country and never use the internet again. You know, if what I'm saying and what other content creators like me are saying is so problematic, you know, it you know, if what I'm saying is so problematic to you folks, then y'all can move on an island somewhere. You know, the fact of the matter is, a criminal committed a crime. The criminal was found guilty of committing that violent crime, and the criminal was sentenced to 35 years of prison. Too bad it wasn't more than that, because I guess Carmelo was a minor, and apparently Texas is not legally allowed, the state of Texas anyway, to, have minors serve a life sentence without parole. I don't understand why that's a thing, but if you commit a violent crime, regardless of what age you are, you should be serving a really lengthy sentence. You know, but think of the children, right? Good Lord, man. You know, with that being said, this whole situation is just bonkers. It's really it's bonkers. It absolutely is bonkers. Well, these folks are just going to be out here doing the exact same thing that they always do, causing trouble for everyone else. And it's going to get to the point, where people are going to want them gone or whatever else. People are not putting up with the stuff no more. If you have to act a fool out in public over a murderer, then you don't need to be anywhere in the country. You need to be out of the country. We don't tolerate that kind of stuff, man. We're supposed to be civilized people, not wild animals. It just makes our country look bad. And it makes us, as human beings, as American citizens, look bad. Oh, man.
So this dude knows, right? He knows. They know exactly what they're doing. It's just shameful and despicable, okay, that they pretend like they're the good guys, right? When they're literally pushing racism, right, and division and hate for monetary gain. It's kind of sick, to be honest with you, because again, they know better. They know better. They've been told better. They've been told, look, man, there's no evidence that Carmelo acted in self-defense. He used a disproportionate amount of force. He can't do that. It was one-on-one. There's no evidence that Carmelo was jumped. They know. They know. But again, anything that they can cling to, again, to continue this grift, they're going to put it out there. And that's the unfortunate reality of this story. The unfortunate reality is that we're in this paradox where these people can say basically forever that the video is not being released because it exonerates Carmelo. So they can have people come out and say, well, I saw the video and the video showed Carmelo getting jumped. But because the video is never going to be released to the public, and the reason why is because it involves minors, okay, it involves children, the public as a whole will never be able to say whether that's right or wrong, right? And even if the video came out, let's say they actually did release the video, the pro-blacks will say, well, see, I saw another video. That's another video that was deleted, right?
Yep.
that showed what actually happened. So there will always be another conspiracy theory. There will always be another explanation for why they're wrong. But they can never admit that they're wrong. They can never admit that Karmelo was not jumped. The reason why they can't admit that is because that's where the grift ends, right? That's where the grift ends. So, unfortunately, this is the world we live in social media, where you can just make stuff up and you have a significant population of very low IQ individuals who have decided that they're going to view the world through a racial lens. Okay. And yeah, that's how you end up with stories like this. Again, this individual that we talked about, hopping around, jumping around, acting a fool out here, right? Trying to provoke conflict, right? This individual. I mean, they get mad, you know, when you say, hey, you're chimping out, right? Stop chimping out. And it's like, well, what else are we supposed to call this, right? What else are you supposed to call this? So I don't know, man. I think a lot of these people, the elevator does not go to the top floor, right? Let's be real. A lot of people are being taken advantage of who just aren't quite right, right? They're just not quite right. And I think that's part of the reason why you see this.
Tragedy, what happened, I think it's what we expected, truly. We wouldn't have expected any less than this. There has been provocation. There's been people who have been paid to come provoke our people. And we know why.
The irony of being paid to provoke people. Yeah, okay, right. Just like the anti-ICE protesters too. A lot of them being paid to do the exact same thing. Come on, man. Who you think you're fooling?
We know why. Because it sells. Capitalism is a disease, and all the provocation that we've seen is a disease.
You folks are sure partaking in that disease. How much do they pay y'all to cause all this trouble in the name of a violent criminal? Sound like some serious moolah to be acting like what do they call them? A performatist, yeah. You must be getting paid a lot of moolah to be a performatist.
This litter that you see me picking up is a disease. The mentality of the hatred is a disease. Even what happened, the hatred that happened between...
This guy was arrested. A man at the center of a viral confrontation outside Karmelo Anthony's murder trial was arrested outside the courthouse where Anthony was found guilty of murder early this week. One of at least two arrests that were made as tensions flared during the racially charged case. Both individuals were taken into custody shortly after Anthony's sentence was announced on Tuesday, the Collin County Sheriff's Office confirmed to Fox News Digital. The individual involved in the viral clash, identified as Jerome Wilson Parker, was arrested on an outstanding warrant for alleged unlawful carrying of a weapon, according to the Collin County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, let me guess. Was it a Glock with a switch in it? Come on. Bring home the bacon.
Police said the charge stems from an alleged incident that took place in the parking lot of the courthouse during activities related to trial proceedings 3 days earlier on June 6th. Yeah, so this guy was arrested on Tuesday and remains in custody on a $1,000 bond. Wow. So he don't have any of his little Marxist buddies to bail him out. On Tuesday, he was seen in a face-to-face confrontation with an Austin Metcalf supporter arguing in support of Anthony in a heated clash outside the courthouse. Yeah, so I would love to see a lot more of these individuals get arrested, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
especially those individuals who are spreading these lies. Because let's be honest, this stuff is bad for the country. It really is. Okay, and that's the worst part about it. The worst part about it is that you have individuals who are literally dividing the country. They're like, we don't give a damn about how divided the country gets, how much hatred is spread, okay, how much racial divisions deteriorate. We don't care. We want to profit off of it. And that's what this is, right? That's exactly what this is. And I mean, it's the Southern Poverty Law Center business model, right? these people, they're making folks racist. The way that they act, they're making people racist. And then they'll turn around and complain about the racism that they're creating with their racism, right? These people are the ones being racist. Their racism is creating a lot more racist. And yeah, I mean, that is what's happening. And that's the unfortunate reality of this case. So again, I'm hoping that at some point, these people let this go. I think eventually that they will, okay, sooner rather than later, once they realize that Karmelo is not getting out, right? Eventually, like, people will move on past it. But it really is a dark chapter in this country's history, right? To see so many people come out in support of this, and then they turn around and they call everybody else uncivilized, right? Willie D calling people uncivilized when it's like, bro, you believe that it's justified to stab somebody in the heart over a push. That is the definition of uncivilized, right? That is the definition of savage, okay? But these people, they don't comprehend that. They don't understand that. Which, again, is part of the reason why you see this stuff in the black community. It is in a state of chaos because of this, right? So, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.
All right, guys. Well, that was the video. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. You know the drill. Shout out to Black Conservative Perspective. You know, we need more content creators talking about this kind of stuff, because this stuff is this behavior is just unacceptable, very unacceptable, and these heathens should be ashamed of themselves. You know, these people are just animals, wild goddamn animals. But again, that was the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. You know, Colby out.